or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens. Well, winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture.
Oh, here we go, baby.
32 teams, 7 rounds.
Less than 2 weeks away.
24 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking. Of course, I'm talking about
Draft day.
Draft day.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Game time, Brian, otherwise known as the mailman. Just got back from dinner. Wanted to get my mock draft 4.0 in. Can't wait for it. Again, 4.0 tonight. And then we're going to have one right before the draft, probably the weekend prior to the draft. Maybe I'll drop it on a Tuesday night. Give you a couple days to absorb it. Maybe Sunday night. Who knows what. But we're going to do our fourth installment of trying to pick everybody's pick in round one. We're not going to do trades in this one. I will offer trades next mock. I have some ideas. Again, I'm like a computer. I'm absorbing everything, and we're going to spit it out. So let's... Sorry, my dog was being weird. All right, here we go. We are going to... Well, first, let me switch the camera. No, I'm not going to switch the camera. Not going to do it. Do you want to go big or do you want to go small? Let's go big. Let's go big. We're going big or go home. We're going big. All right, here we go. Mock Draft 4.0. Let's let it begin. Tennessee Titans. This is a lock. It's over. It's already been picked. Cam Ward, quarterback out of Florida, is the pick. They pretty much have told everybody. If it's not Cam Ward, then we've all been lied to. It'll be Cam Ward. Now, honestly, they should look to trade down. If somebody else loves if the Giants love Cam Ward that much, how much is it worth it? It doesn't happen. They don't like Will Levis, a.k.a. Bo Callahan in my book. Watch out. Watch out for Cam Ward. This is where it gets interesting. We've mocked everything. We're going to come full circle. We're going to come back to what I originally thought was going to happen with this mock. Cleveland Browns take edge rusher out of Penn State, Abdul Carter. Yes, Abdul Carter. There it is, people. I've had Travis Hunter. I've had quarterback. Met with Shedeur Sanders' father, Dion. Smokescreen? Who knows? It's not bad to pick somebody's brain. Abdul Carter goes here. Edge out of Penn State goes to the Browns. Now you got two bookends. Myles Garrett, Abdul Carter. Good luck. They just re-signed Delaware Blue Hen Joe Flacco. Deptford, New Jersey baseball player Joe Flacco to go back. Now, I don't know that that's a good move, but for Joe, congrats. You got another 13, 14, whatever the price tag was he got. Now, Jesse Montanez's New York Football Giants. Are you going Shedeur? Are you going Shedeur? Are you going Shedeur? Nope, you're not going Shedeur. You're going Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is gone to the New York Football Giants. Arguably, between him and Abdul Carter, arguably, the best player in the draft. Here we go. So here is where the New England Patriots are sitting here looking to bail. They are looking to bail away from this pick. They wanted Abdul Carter. They probably would want Travis Hunter. They're not going to take. They're not going to take. This one's a tough one. They're not going to take a quarterback. They got their quarterback. So who do they take? New England Patriots needs offensive tackle, wide receiver, edge, guard, cornerback. I'm going to say New England Patriots. We're going to shock the world with everybody. We are going to shock the world. They need offensive tackle, right? Wide receiver, edge. New England Patriots. I'm going to shock the world here. Jalen Walker goes. Linebacker, Georgia, goes to New England Patriots. 4.0. I will really study exactly. I'll go deep for my final installment. But off the rip, he's one of the most talented guys at this spot. Kind of Abdul Carter-esque. So why not give him Jalen Walker? Number 5. Yes, everybody. Defensive tackle, tight end, cornerback, offensive tackle, wide receiver. Here it comes, everybody. We're going to go with Mason Graham, right? We're going to go Mason Graham. We're not going to go Mason Graham. We're not going Mason Graham. There has been a leak from Duval. Yes, there's been a leak from inside Duval that they are strongly considering, and I'm pulling the trigger here with none other than Ashton Jeanty to the Jags.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Oh, shit. Yes, Ashton Jeanty's off of the board. The Raiders are scurrying. The Raiders are like, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to sit there and possibly take the best player there. Or do they not? Mason Graham is there. Will Campbell is there. Armand Membu is there. Ted McMillan is there. So what we're going to do for the Raiders, the Raiders did go out and get Geno. We could give them Shedeur Sanders. I do not see it happening. I believe Raiders go. To me, it comes down to Will Johnson, Ted McMillan, and we're going to give them Ted. Ted McMillan is off of the board at number 6. They were locked in on Ashton Jeanty. Jeanty is gone. There you go. So that sets up the New York Jets. This is the tough one now because the Jets went out and got Justin Fields. That's not going to stop them from getting a quarterback. But do they really value quarterback like this? What they should do, they're looking for a right tackle. It's coming down to one of 2 picks for me. Mason Graham and Armand Membu. They should go Membu here. They absolutely should go Membu. Will Campbell, to me, is a notch below Membu. Tyler Warren is also a possibility. What we're going to do here is give them a tackle. They really need a tackle. Mason Graham would be a luxury for them. Again, go arguably the best tackle on the board at this point, Armand Membu. Boom. There you go. Carolina Panthers are on the board. They need corner. They need center. They need safety. They need edge. They need wide receiver. Corner, you got Will Johnson on the board. Do they pull the trigger on Will Johnson? I've seen edge rusher, wide receiver. I'm going to narrow it down to a corner and edge. So Will Campbell has yet to run his 40, so by the time I do my final, we will have his 40 number. So we're going to go with Will Campbell. You remember, they have just locked up their other corner, J.C. Horn. Or edge rusher. You know what? Shamar Stewart is flying up the boards. But I've seen Michael Williams mocked there, and it makes a lot of sense. Local kid, Michael Williams. We're going to go Michael Williams out of Georgia to Carolina. He is off the board. That sets up the New Orleans Saints. Yes, the New Orleans Saints are on the board. They need guard. They need wide receiver. They need corner. They need edge. They need running back. But breaking news. Breaking news. Where is my breaking? There it is. Breaking news. David Carr could possibly miss the whole season. Yes, David Carr could possibly miss the whole season with a arm injury. Non-disclosed arm injury, may not be ready for the start, may miss the whole season. What does that tell you? That's telling me rotator cuff. That's baseball. I got a partial torn rotator in my throwing arm. My buddy's had both of his rotators. That's the only thing that I would think that would shut him down. Some sort of shoulder surgery. So that tells me quarterback in round one. Yes, quarterback. So let's switch it up. You would think other things. Shedeur Sanders to Colorado? From Colorado? Nope. We're going to go Jackson Dart. The quarterback goes to the New Orleans Saints. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is another...
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Jackson Dart goes, and he's going to get the ball. He's going to get the ball game one. I think he's more ready to play. They could go Shedeur Sanders, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Jackson Dart goes to the Saints because of the latest and breaking news about David Carr. That sets up the Chicago Bears. Everybody's had running back. Everybody's had Ashton Genty. If he gets past the Raiders, he's going to the Bears. Well, he didn't even make it to the Raiders. So they need offensive tackle. They need running back. They need safety. They need edge. They need linebacker. So I think this is an easy one. Offensive tackle. We're going to give them the best tackle. They could go. No, I'm not going to do that. Stick to it. Will Campbell gone to the Chicago Bears. Yes, the Chicago Bears. That leaves the San Francisco 49ers. They need defensive tackle. They need corner. They need linebacker. They need edge. We could taste Mason Graham. We could see it. I would be looking at the Chicago Bears and talking to Chicago for a possible trade up to get ahead of the 49ers. In this particular case, we're not doing, because if I am the 49ers, right, I am looking to Mason Graham. So if you're that close, right, you're that close. I would try and talk to the Bears, because the Bears would still end up with Will Campbell. Kind of like what we did with the Eagles, where we knew we were once the two cornerbacks, J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain, were gone. It was a matter of letting the Eagles jump ahead of the Giants, knowing what they were going to take. We get the extra pick from the Birds. We still get our guy in Micah Parsons. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, this one's a big one. This is very close. But I believe because to screw Dallas, I think the Niners would take Mason Graham here. So we're going to give them Mason Graham. We're not going to window dress it and say, well, they really do need a corner. They're very light in corner. They could go Will Johnson. They could go Jahdae Barron. They could go either one. So stay tuned on that. The final mock draft, that may be the case. We would have seen Will Johnson. I think Jahdae Barron is a real possibility for them. We were that close to Mason Graham, people. I do believe that's a possible. Dallas Cowboys are on the clock, baby. Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. They need running back. They need edge rusher. They need offensive guard. They need corner. They need wide receiver. In no particular order. We know the fans want a number 2 wide receiver. That's been the buzz of late. Shamar Stewart is staring us in the face. Tyler Warren is staring us in the face. This is a tough one. Running back is staring us in the face. So Marion Hampton. Don't look at the rating. Don't worry about this particular mock's rating. This is a tough one for me. Will Johnson is there. Jahdae Barron. This is an obvious trade down situation if it were me. People are going to want to come up for Shedeur Sanders. This is where you bail or you draft Shedeur. This is where you bail. Who would possibly want to come up? It would be Denver Broncos for me. Denver. Okay, it would be Denver. It would be the Denver Broncos. So Denver, they're not going to show the picks because I only did one round. But Denver has a lot of picks. Denver would come up to get their guy Omarion Hampton. That's what they would do. We would drop to 20. Let's count them. Let's count the players knowing that Hampton's gone. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 7 players. Okay? I mean, Shamar Stewart, Kelvin Banks, Matthew Golden, Mike Green, Loveland, Harmon, Starks, Barron. I mean, Josh Simmons, Emeka Egbuka, James Pierce. I mean, I will be looking to bail at this point. But because of the recent meeting, the tweets by Matthew Golden, we're going to go Matthew Golden here to the Dallas Cowboys in a non-trade draft. Matthew Golden is a Cowboy. We didn't have a chance at Ted McMillan. So it is what it is. Number 13, Miami Dolphins, offensive guard, defensive tackle, safety, linebacker. How far does Shedeur Sanders fall? That's the key. Kelvin Banks. It makes too much sense. We're going to go Kelvin Banks. Makes too much sense. Kelvin Banks goes to the Dolphins. Sets up number 14. This is the easiest pick. Tyler Warren. Perfect. Marriage made in heaven. I've mocked it. That's that's an easy one. If not him, it would be a Shamar Stewart or a Derek Harmon, but it's too easy. Number 15, they need cornerback. They need defensive tackle. They need edge. I'm looking at Shamar Stewart. I'm looking at a Will Johnson. I'm going to give them Shamar Stewart. Yes, he's an absolute beast with a big upside. Him on one side, Dallas Turner on the other. I like it. Number 16, the Cardinals are not happy. They just lost their edge rusher. They still need defensive tackle. They need wide receiver. They need guard. They need linebacker. Give them Mike Green. Mike Green gone. One of my favorite players in this draft. Moving along. Number 17, they need edge. They need defensive tackle. They need guard. They need corner. I think they sit there and go, whoa, he's still on the board. As much as they need edge, we can get an edge later. Will Johnson goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, they love their Ohio State players, but it could be Josh Simmons there. It very well could be Josh Simmons, but I think Will Johnson is too intriguing for them. I think that's what they take. Seattle Seahawks, they need offensive tackle, offensive guard. Do they take? I mean, how far does Shedeur fall? He's not going here. So Derek Harmon. Offensive guard, offensive tackle, wide receiver. Mm-mm-mm. Tyler Booker, gone. We hardly knew you at 18. Again, wide receivers are kind of wiped for now. You still have Igbuka, and you still have um, uh, what's his name? Luther Burden. So, all right, moving along. Number 19, they need CB, safety, edge, linebacker, defensive tackle. Is this where Shedeur Sanders goes? Is this, we are on Shedeur Sanders. Let's look at the teams. Is this where Marion Hampton goes? Safety, edge. Let's look and see what they have. Safety, edge. Corner, Jade Barron. Safety, edge. All right, we're going to make the pick here. We're going to go Malachi Starks. Safety out of Georgia goes to Tampa. Denver sits and gets their guy. They need a running back, and he's sitting there right in their face. Wherever they have him here. Let's just go down. Let's go here. Running back. Marion Hampton goes to the Denver Broncos. 21. This is a quarterback. They could have their pick. Oh, my God. I mocked Will Howard. What a perfect place for Shedeur Sanders to land. Shedeur Sanders goes 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They could still take Howard, but I think because of the leadership, I think Shedeur Sanders goes to the Steelers. They're looking happy. The only place I could see Shedeur possibly going would be the Raiders there, but I took a chance that he was going to fall. I just did. Shedeur Sanders goes to the Steelers. The fall is over. Number 22, defensive tackle, tight end, wide receiver. Defensive tackle, tight end, wide receiver. Defensive tackles. To me, it comes down to the two Michigan players, or it could be Derek Harmon. I believe they go with tight end here, Colston Loveland. I think he goes to play with his ex-coach, Jim Harbaugh. Yes, Jim Harbaugh. I've been mocking Kenneth Grant there, so didn't happen this time. All right, up next, the Green Bay Packers. They need corner, they need edge, they need wide receiver. Jair Alexander is probably a cut candidate. Siobhan Ravel is on the board. They need edge, they need corner, they need wide receiver. Let's look at edge rushers. Nick Scorton, James Pierce, Ezeriku. I'm looking at James Pierce right here. Jade Barron, Siobhan Ravel. Defensive tackle, Derek Harmon. I think because of the Jair Alexander release that's upcoming, I believe they go Siobhan Ravel here. I think they intrigued by the tall, possibly the best corner in this draft. Siobhan Ravel, big boy. We'll see how that translates. So let's continue the mock. Ravel's gone. Vikings have been linked to Ravel. They need safety, they need corner, they need guard. I believe they need edge, they need running back. I believe now that he's gone, I think they move to Nick Emanwari. Big boy, physical, safety. Goes to the Minnesota Vikings. Moving along, number 25, Houston Texans. They need tackle. They need guard. They need center. They need wide receiver. And they need a defensive tackle. Let's see. Josh Simmons makes way too much sense. Josh Simmons is the best injured, but they're saying he might be ready. Josh Simmons goes to the Houston Texans to fill that tackle spot. Maybe not. Maybe they go with a wide receiver here. I'm going to take him high because if it's not Houston, it's somebody else trading up to him. I think Josh Simmons doesn't last till 32, and this makes the most sense in my opinion. Next up is the Los Angeles Rams. They need linebacker, cornerback, edge, tight end, running back. Linebacker, cornerback, edge, tight end. We're going to give them James Pierce, arguably the best pure pass rusher out of the edge. We're going to give them James Pierce out of Tennessee. If not Pierce and they're scared away, they could take Jahdae Barron. I think people are a little scared of Jahdae or Emeka Egbuka. That's possible. Moving along, the Baltimore Ravens. They need guard, corner, edge, linebacker. They need guard. Let's see the best guards on the board. Gray Zabel. And then cornerback, Jahdae Barron. So it's either Jahdae Barron or Gray Zabel. I believe they go Gray Zabel. North Dakota State comes in, helps them immediately. Moving on to 28, Detroit Lions need edge, guard, corner. Edge, guard, corner. Everybody's mocking an edge and edge and edge. I believe Jahdae Barron would fit awesome with the Detroit Lions. He's a playmaker, arguably the best cornerback in the draft. Goes 28, drops a little bit because of his size. I love Jahdae Barron, and Detroit gets a great player. The rich get richer. 29, edge, corner, safety, linebacker, wide receiver. Edge, corner, safety, linebacker. Jihad Campbell? Possibly. Donovan Izariku, edge rusher, goes to the Washington Commandos. I really like this player a lot. Edge rusher, really like him. Next up is the Buffalo Bills at 30. They got a boatload of picks. They need a corner, a defensive back, a linebacker, an edge, and a wide receiver. Derek Harmon is jumping off the page here. Walter Nolan. Derek Harmon, Walter Nolan. Whatever fits their scheme better, put it in the comments. I'm looking at Emeka Egbuka, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon. I'm going to go Derek Harmon to Buffalo. I think I've done that before. 2 picks left in the first round. The Chiefs are on the board. They need defensive tackle, offensive guard, edge, safety, offensive tackle. We are going to go Kenneth Grant, stud in the middle. He gives me Chiefs vibes. He just does. He gives me Chiefs vibes. And to round out the draft, number 32, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champion. That's the reward for winning it all is picking number 32 in a non-trade scenario. What do they need? Edge rusher, guard, corner, defensive tackle, offensive tackle. Walter Nolan or Nick Scorton. Walter Nolan or Nick Scorton. You got Emeka Egbuka and Luther Burden still on the board. Wow. Tyleek Williams. What's the best edge rushers for the Birds left? Nick Scorton. This is why they're bringing him in, everybody. This is why they're bringing him in. 6'2", 257. Might be the most aesthetically pleasing pass rusher in the class. His wise beyond his years regarding his arsenal of pass rush moves and his well-developed frame. Despite being under 20. Wow, he's a young player. Unfortunately, gaining unnecessary weight for 2024 season likely hurt his NFL draft stock. So we put on a little too much weight. He weighed around 265. Scorton would still offer a steady base as an edge pass rusher. So there you go. Let's see. So it's either going to be Scorton. Let's look at the corners. You got Morrison, Amos. I don't think they're going there yet. Defensive tackle. Walter Nolan's a possibility. I've done that before. Offensive tackle. You got Josh Connerly. It is a possibility. I think it's a defensive tackle or an edge rusher. But because the last info I got that they met with this player, we're going to go with Nick Scorton, edge out of Tennessee. And there is the full results, everybody. The full results, drink it in. Some of the highlights, Travis Hunter goes number 3. Ashton Genty goes number 5. Leaving the Raiders to sweat. And they want an outside receiver, so they go with Tet McMillan, not Shador Sanders. They just got they just extended Geno Smith. Membu goes to the Jets. That was a place that maybe Mason Graham, Michael Williams. Carolina is intriguing to me. Obviously, the very surprise move, but because of the David Carr, maybe they take Shador. I gave them Jackson Dart. The Chicago is left, maybe looking to trade down a little bit. Dallas, if you want Mason Graham, go get him. Cost you your 5th-round pick to go from 12 into 10. And this has not happened. Niners take Graham. Maybe the Niners take Tyler Warren to replace an aging tight end that they have. That's a possibility. Or a Kelvin Banks, Niners could go a lot of ways. I just gave him the best ranked player for now. Stay tuned for my final mock. I gave Dallas Matthew Golden. Again, that's the latest name that we're hearing. But you see all the talent that's there. You see it all. Tyler Booker, they could have went the corner. But more importantly, Omarion Hampton drops to 20. Nick Scorton is the latest Eagle. Again, maybe Derek Harmon doesn't. Maybe it's Grant here and Harmon here. There it is, everybody. Josh Simmons. Maybe Josh Simmons goes a little later, and they pick up a wide receiver. Let's look at. I don't know if I can, but like some of the guys that are still on the board. Some of the guys still on the board is Luther Burden and Mecca Egbuka. Again, this is very much a possibility. There it is, 4.0. Tell me what you think in the comments. I'm getting ready to do a live stream in a little bit, so getting ready for that. But let me know what you think about this mock draft 4.0 for the Eagles. Would you take Scorton? Would you take Walter Nolan? You could take Walter Nolan. I think you need an edge rusher, though. There's some more edges, and you can move up in round 2 and get yourself an edge. That's just me. But in this particular case, I took Nick Scorton. Washington Commandos, Donovan Ezeruku. I love the player, so I think that's a great pick. The Giants, Travis Hunter, how can you go wrong? And Dallas Cowboys, Matthew Golden. Listen, that's it. That's it for everybody. Mock draft 4.0 is in the books. I will definitely do a final with some trades. Let me know what you think. And as always,
How about them Cowboys?
hey.